These are 5 color grading mistakes that instantly made my footage look super amateur. And it took me, 5 years to learn how to not make these mistakes. So save 5 years and check out these tips. Tip number 1 is associating color grading with post-production only, when in reality, color is determined by your set, your props, your outfit, the design of your film before you ever go into color grading. I didn't turn this image teal and red. I created a teal and red environment, and then I was able to just enhance that within color grading. Color grading starts before you ever hit record. Remember that, because what happens if you have just a shot that doesn't look amazing right out of camera or doesn't lead you in the correct direction right out of camera, when you get into color grading and you start trying to turn it into some cinematic image, that's when you start to crush it, and that, not like crushed it, but like that's when you start to overdo it, ruin it. And that's when you start to feel like, how come this image looks so much better than mine and I'm using the same exact techniques? It's because they had techniques before they ever hit record. If you are moving into a color grade right now and it's too late for you to try to work on the color in pre-production, what I suggest is a technique that I use, dial back. Whenever you find a contrast or something that you're like, you know what, I think this looks good, dial it back just a little bit. Just try it, just once. There's a chance that it won't work for you, but for me personally, I like to color. I like a contrast level, but I dialed it back just a little bit, and every single time that I've done that, it turns out a lot more realistic than what my eye was seeing. Mistake number 1 helped me a ton, but mistake number 2 was a technique that no one ever told me. I kind of had to learn it by myself, and it's something that I really wish someone had told me. Grading for your look. Grading for my look. There were so many times when there was a color grade that I knew looked phenomenal. It looked great, and objectively, it looked good. The client didn't like it, and it's because I was going forth with a grade that my style was. It was very narrative, like soft feature film look, and it was for a commercial that was very in-your-face, meta ad punchy. Looking good isn't exactly what the client always wants. It's having a good look that represents their brand. So while you probably color grade and you can make it look good, does it fit the brand? Does it fit the story? Let the story and the brand lead your color grade. Don't let your personal opinion lead your color grade. Tip number 3, I've heard multiple times, but I never really understood the importance of it until I had a project where there was a client who just kept asking for more contrast. So misinterpreting contrast. When I always heard contrast, I was like, I don't know how much further I can separate my highlights and my shadows before everything just gets crushed. We can't go further. When they say contrast, there could be multiple different thought processes behind contrast. Contrast is not just highlights and shadows. Contrast is 2 opposing things coming together next to each other. That's my own definition that may or not make sense. Blue and red. Contrast can be done in your colors, your exposure, your set. Contrast can be done with a wide shot showing a small person in a very wide landscape. Can be used through juxtaposition. Contrast can be introduced in many different layers. So don't put contrast in a exposure only house. Contrast is just putting 2 opposing things next to each other that complement each other. If you got that, good. If you didn't, I don't blame you. I just blew my mind a little bit there. Tip number 4 is one that I feel like a lot of us don't know. I really didn't fall into this new idea until a couple months ago. But before we dive into this, I just want to let's take a look at this shirt real quick. If you know, I am a big space fan. That's my astronaut over there. I'm a big space fan. There's this company called Into the AM, and they're basically this company that understands the grind that young entrepreneurs put in to their craft. That's why it's called Into the AM. I didn't understand the title until I read the message, but it relates with you and with me, how there are multiple nights where we are up until sunrise just working on making our dreams come true. And that takes a certain type of person to be able to have that obsession and have that work ethic, and Into the AM knows that. Go check out the link below if you would like to see some shirts. That was almost bad. If you'd like to check out some shirts, maybe even get a discount, check the description and it'll say it all right there. On to tip number 4, using one grade. So when you go into your project and you create one grade and then you copy and paste, and then you make little adjustments through the entire thing. There are many times when there are different storylines happening or different messages that you want to be delivering in these different points of time. There are different messages that need to be told in different scenes. There could be a scene that is very warm, inviting, and friendly, and then the opposing scene is a sad, more depressing scene, but we use the same grade throughout the entire project. When in reality, if we were to go from orange to blue or high key to low key, using different grades, different looks throughout one project, I think is necessary to be able to even further push the story in each scene. Try that out. Number 5 is one that people have told me, but it never sunk in. And I'd say it's the most beneficial tip out of this entire video. Revisions are not shots at your skill set. When a company comes to you and says, hey, this is a great video, but we need... and it's like a list of revisions. First, make sure you price for those revisions. But second, all of these revisions are not saying you did bad here, you did bad here, you did bad here. It's saying our brand calls for a certain look. This is a good video, but it does not match our brand. Revisions are not shots at your skill set most of the time. Revisions are just, they like the video so much and they want to make sure that it aligns with who they are perfectly. Remember that. When you get that next list of revisions where you're just like, frick, I suck. No, you don't. You really don't. Listen, you don't suck. You don't. You just got to align it with their brand. That's it. So you're good. You're fine. We're going to go to the last tip. Oh, and I'm almost out of the camera. The hallucinations. But really, when you're sitting down at a color grade, when you're looking at your computer screen for so long looking at a color, you are looking at artificial colors this entire time. You're seeing different things. You're seeing things that aren't actually there. You've been looking at it for so long and you're like, oh no, I think it looks horrible. And then go outside, look at some God-given creations, actual natural light, come back to it later on, and you'll feel so much better. Make sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and remember, it only takes one to start color grading. It only takes one to check out DaVinci Resolve. It only takes one to make a change, and it only takes one to change the world, and that could be you. See you next time.